कैबिनेट की बैठक आज हुई है और सीधे चलते हैं और जेटली उसकी प्रेस ब्रीफिंग कर रहे हैं।
Both have been conferred the highest civilian award of Bharat Ratna. It's a recognition of their services to this country. Malviya ji is a great freedom fighter, an eminent lawyer, a great educationist, and a very strong nationalist. He was for several terms the president of the Indian National Congress. He established the Banaras Hindu University, the legacy of which is very powerful till today. Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee has been one of the most outstanding prime ministers and political leaders that India has seen in the post-independence era. Atalji has been a very strong nationalist committed to the cause of this country, a complete product of parliamentary system and multi-party democracy. A man who always realized the virtues of consensus, one of the greatest communicators that India has ever seen, and somebody who made his presence felt at a national level, was committed to complete peace in Southeast Asia. And the country is today honored, has had the privilege of honoring these two great leaders. We all wish Atalji a good health and a very long life. मैं इसको हिंदी में भी अनुवाद करके बतला देता हूं कि आज एक गौरव का भी दिन है कि पंडित मदन मोहन मालवीय जी और श्री अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी को जो सर्वोच्च नागरिक सम्मान है भारत रत्न का, उनको दिया गया है। राष्ट्रपति जी ने आज उसकी घोषणा की है। मालवीय जी एक बहुत स्वतंत्रता आंदोलन के बहुत बड़े नेता थे। कई बार कांग्रेस पार्टी के अध्यक्ष रहे, एक विधिवक्ता भी थे, एक एजुकेशनिस्ट थे, राष्ट्रवादी विचारों के लिए उनको जाना जाता था। बनारस हिंदू विश्वविद्यालय की स्थापना करना उनका एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण योगदान था। अटल जी इस देश के बहुत सफल प्रधानमंत्रियों में से और राजनीतिक नेताओं में से रहे हैं। देश की राजनीति और देश के प्रति उनकी सेवा आज की पीढ़ी ने भी देखी है। संसदीय व्यवस्था में से वो एक प्रकार से राजनीतिक जीवन में पैदा हुए। आम राय के आधार पर देश को ले जाना और राष्ट्र के प्रति समर्पित रहना, लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों में उनका बहुत विश्वास था। जब राजनीतिक जीवन में सक्रिय रहे और आज हम उनके अच्छे स्वास्थ्य और दीर्घायु की कामना करते हैं। आज मंत्रिपरिषद की बैठक में 3 महत्वपूर्ण निर्णय हुए। पहला निर्णय था कि जो कोल एलोकेशन का अध्यादेश था, लोकसभा ने उसे पारित किया था और राज्यसभा में उस पर चर्चा नहीं होने दी गई। आज उस ऑर्डिनेंस को रीप्रमलगेट किया गया है। इसके साथ साथ जो कोल ब्लॉक के ऑक्शन की व्यवस्था है, पावर सेक्टर में और अन्य सेक्टर्स में, उसकी जो गाइडलाइंस हैं, उन गाइडलाइंस को भी मंत्रिपरिषद ने अप्रूव किया है। With the repromulgation, the unfinished process of allocation of coal blocks will resume again. The guidelines have been approved for the methodology, how coal blocks will be allocated for the power sector and for the other core sectors. After this press conference, if you stay back, those of whom you want to know this process of auctioning in detail, the Coal Secretary, Shri Anil Sarup, will be here and he will in detail explain the same to you. Besides the issue of coal, the Insurance Laws Amendment Bill has been pending in Parliament for a very long time. The Standing Committee of Parliament had approved the bill. Thereafter, the Rajya Sabha had constituted a select committee of the Rajya Sabha to again go into all the facts. The select committee approved the bill with some modifications. Even though the select committee by an overwhelming majority recommended the bill for adoption, the same was not permitted to be taken up for discussions because of disturbances in the Rajya Sabha. The government therefore decided to recommend to the Honorable President the promulgation of the Insurance Amendment laws. The ordinance is exactly and verbatim in terms of the recommendations of the Select Committee. So what has been approved by a Select Committee of members who represent an overwhelming majority in both houses of Parliament, their suggestion has been entirely incorporated, and an ordinance to this effect has been recommended to the President. I need not go into the details because the content and the structure of the Select Committee's recommendations are known to all of you. These are the three important decisions which have been taken today. I have one or two more informations to give to you. One is there's been a review of the policy on foreign direct investment in pharmaceutical sectors. So far, both in the greenfield and the brownfield projects, 100% FDI is allowed in the pharmaceutical sector. Within the same category, a distinct new subcategory has been carved out,